I was so excited when I first saw those tweeted photos that yes, even in quarter two and probably leading into quarter three, Tesla is using their own semi-trucks to deliver their vehicles. It makes perfect sense to me that Tesla should be the first trial customer for the semi-truck, and there's a whole bunch of benefits that come along with that. For one, Tesla's already showcased when people take pictures of these semis that they can charge them at their own supercharging stations. They have their own proprietary hardware that essentially allows the semi to plug in at 2 supercharging stalls at the same time. We don't know exactly how fast it's able to charge the semi, but we know that because of those massive battery packs, you can pump an insane amount of energy into these things without really causing that much long-term damage to the battery pack. In case any of you were wondering, hey, why can't I plug my Model 3 or my Model S into 2 superchargers at the same time? That would be bad. You don't want that on a battery pack as small as your vehicle has, but when the Tesla Semi has, 500 or 850 kilowatt hour battery packs, then pumping that much energy in doesn't cause that much long-term damage. So that means that before Tesla starts rolling out the mega charger network, which we've still seen very little traction on despite Elon's memo going out that, hey, we're ready to bring the semi to volume production, my hope is that the first fleet of Tesla semis can be used by Tesla first. That way, all of the bugs and all of the real-life issues that the semi may have on the first wave of products can be caught in-house by default. This is a very good move considering you don't want to have the first kind of defects or issues that the Tesla Semi might have in the first few months of production coming from some of your largest reservation holders, people who have spent millions of dollars on this vehicle. You don't want them doing all the testing. You don't want them doing the trial running, because then it'll come to the press, whether it's Walmart, Lay's, or UPS, whoever's using these things are going to come forward and start saying, hey, we're having issues with the Semi, we're not happy with them, and that would obviously be a very bad look for Tesla. So if Tesla starts having issues with the first semis coming out of the factories and they're testing them and maybe there's some defects, maybe the range isn't as good or the acceleration isn't as promised, if there's some other unforeseen issues, Tesla gets to know about those and they don't have to complain to the press because they're the ones building them. So they just kind of let the people in charge of the semi project know and say, hey, by the way, this is where the semi is throwing a fit, this is where it's not working, we need you to address this, we need you to fix this, and then they can go out, of course, and do their best to fix that before they actually deliver them to actual reservation holders, which there are still quite a few of. And the other benefit of this is we know that because Tesla owns all of the proprietary hardware with the Tesla Semi, they get to put their own kind of proprietary mega chargers at the factories wherever they're onloading or offloading the Tesla Semi payload. So they're not too concerned about what routes these semi trucks are going on because they know exactly which senders they're stopping at, exactly where they're going to be picking up vehicles and dropping off, and Tesla owns the property there. So they can see how expensive it is to put in mega charging stations, or, as I have pitched in previous videos, I think Tesla really needs to make the wall connector equivalent for the Tesla Semi. No, this is not something that you'd be able to install at residential houses, but factories or other industrial locations obviously have much more power access than the traditional residential house, and because of that, they should be able to install some kind of, beefed up Tesla Semi wall connector that whenever this thing is parked, whenever it's not being used overnight or the driver's not using it or whatnot, it can stay plugged in, and they can put that wherever the semis are parked. They can put that wherever they're sitting when they're being onloaded or offloaded. That way, instead of the truck just sitting there half the time, it can actually be gaining range as it's parked and people are adding to the payload of the semi anyway. Makes perfect sense to me. Not to mention, it's just a better look for the company, especially if Tesla is starting to manufacture their own semi-trucks. Why then would they continue to use diesel trucks that we see all the time leaving the Fremont factory? And obviously, they're delivering a ton of Tesla vehicles to different showrooms and to different locations for customers, but it's just kind of a sour taste in everyone's mouth to see these giant fleets of Teslas being driven around by these huge diesel semi-trucks, which of course are a huge cause of emissions to the environment. And if Tesla was selling their own semi, everyone would be confused by that. They'd be like, hey, why the heck are you selling a semi-truck and expecting other carriers to use it if you're not willing to use it yourself? Because Tesla's moving so much stuff across the country all the time, particularly around their factories, it would make more than enough sense to me that they would be using their own semi-trucks to showcase, hey, the cost-saving factor here makes sense, we're proud of it, we're using it ourselves and experiencing a lot of the cost benefits because now we don't have to service these huge diesel trucks that we had before that of course have oil changes, brake pad replacements, and cost much, much more per mile than an electric semi-truck would. And I think that would prove a lot to their future clients, that they believe in the product, they believe it is working. So whenever the first deliveries of the Tesla Semi begin, we don't know for sure sure, other than Tesla expects it to be next year, but whenever the assembly line is up and running, and it sounds like based on Elon's email that it could be at this point, with Giga Nevada expanding and building more cells, battery packs, and powertrains for the Tesla Semi, I think as volume production is beginning, they should be primarily used by Tesla. Figure out the kinks, figure out the issues, charge them at your own supercharging stations, which you have the proprietary hardware to allow you to plug in 2 stalls at once. Start rolling out your own version of the Tesla Semi wall connector at your own factory so that they can charge when parked or when loading up vehicles or equipment, and prove to future Tesla Semi clients that they are capable of working, they are being used today, and that should shut up a lot of the people who doubt this product or doubt it could ever really be used in any type of practical example, because delivering heavy electric vehicles to consumers, that takes a lot of power, that takes a lot of energy, and showcasing how you can do that with your own in-house designed hardware is just kind of an awesome power move, and I think a lot of people would end up respecting that. But what do you guys think? Should Tesla not worry about their own semi-fleet that much right now, or do you think the logic I provided today makes a whole lot of sense? Feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, and we can chat more about it there. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.